The exchange module it would be kind of sensor where we could monitor the temperature in the
Ajde, pjevaj malo, pjevaj.
Pjevaj si ne.
Taking care for the social status of the self-employed artist. This is one level, and I think another level should be the project which was evoked now by Marko Košnik, that we are having this forum, where we have a concrete, very precise proposals of what should be changed, what is good, what is bad. So that also when we are speaking at the ministry on the level of the NGOs, when we are having the concrete problems, concrete examples of good and bad practices, that it's much easier to discuss about.
But we also have this Odprta Zbornica, which was the kind of forum of individual artists, self-employed, or how it's called, self-employed artists, workers in the culture. And what would be the difference between Ministry of Experiment as a forum or Odprta Zbornica? It could be another forum, but what would be the difference? I have my experiences the past 2 years when we were formulating very concrete points which had to be changed. Also, what you were talking that now Asociacija is dealing with, social status, the criteria of all these applications that we have to do. There was no result. After 2 years of work, there was no result. And now
Work where?
we work on these topics, defining very precisely what are the areas that need to be changed, that need to be discussed. We even managed to have some kind of direct contact to the minister and all the representatives and bureaucrats. But actually, after this time, all these questions are still open. They are formulated, but not solved. So I wonder what would be the different approach that the new Ministry of Experiment can offer.
abstracted way. I think it's important to understand that we are dealing with certain sets of habits and certain... I don't want to talk about characters, I don't want to... Or maybe it's to talk about strategies. So what we got in last 15 years, and I will be very precise, after what I believe was the most important event to establish the independent production in Slovenia that happened under the title of Determination of Functional Systems. For broadcasted radio student with Simon Kardumi, the Čufar, Marko Pelhan, myself, Špela Virant, and Dragan Jevodin and some other artists had called into these shows that were then later published as a resume in Maska magazine, was the achievement of the status of independent production. And now, at the same time, Ministry Experiment, which was not yet existing, was showing a certain activity that was an open platform, open access point for people who wanted to learn and to come doing shows at Radio Student. The aim of Ministry of Experiment, in fact, was to revitalize and to change the strategies how Radio Student was organized to make it suitable for the new era of streaming. And I think the connection is very evident when we put the statements like the ones we have now and statements of artists and other people who are in fact connected to these problematics and put them in a constant remix. As a process, which would mean when the bodies like NGO bodies or associatia are formalized in a discourse that should be readable.
Bodies
by
without organs.
You can say so. In fact, it's about how to interface the power structures in the way that they can learn from the working class of art on what the contents, what the lifestyle, what the conditions are needed. I think new Ministry of Experiment, in fact, is there to emphasize the experimental issue based on same materials, which would mean like, if you know Laibach, had established Germania, the sub-band that would care about emotions and women and kids. Just because Laibach itself was supposed to be very tough, very monolithic. So this could be a window, Ministry of Experiment could be a window to approach this whole topic in artistically formalized manner, but in the way that it stays alive. By my view, the most problematic period of dealing with issues in culture is all the time between the proposals. So to reach the continuity of engagement, I think that kind of emotional space for, I don't say that we have to be very emotional when doing art, but the space where we keep alive, keep the fire alive, yeah, by stimulating ourselves,
What about
working with materials, with the same materials like what we are talking now, or with the materials which you have to produce.
About what we are talking now? About what we are talking now?
Yeah, I'll just finish. That's how I see it very relevant.